it's cold. Today I'm going to the dump. You might be able to see some mattresses and things in the back of the Land Rover. Loads of bags. It's very early. Completely icy. I didn't want to get out of bed today. But sometimes needs must. See you further on the journey. So I'm on the way to the dump. I'm the executor of my mother's estate, and therefore it has fallen to me to empty her home of all its contents. Now, as you can see or surmise, I'm driving a Land Rover, and I haven't had the Land Rover very long, and I principally bought it in order to remove and accommodate all the things from my mother's home and triage them either to charity shops, either to bring things home to myself or to take things to the dump. And one of the things charity shops don't really like very much are mattresses and used linen and duvet thingies and what have you. And so therefore at the back of the Land Rover, as you might have seen in the opening shot, are various bits and bobs and a huge mattress. Today's principal task therefore is to go to the dump. Fortunately there's a dump not far from my mother's, bang in the middle of the countryside, which is unusual. And so that's where I'm heading. But as I say, I bought the Land Rover. It's a 110, which is a long wheelbase Land Rover, as a sort of glorified van really. And it's proving very, very useful. I mean, I wanted a long wheelbase because I thought I might camp in the back. And there are some people who actually set them up as little camper vans. But then, of course, that would take up a lot of room and I wouldn't be able to move as much stuff. I may do that as a project later on in the year, but for now, it is proving a wonderful space in which to put lots of articles. And so that's today's job. It's a beautiful day, the sun's shining, it was very frosty first thing. I'm looking forward to decanting the contents of the Land Rover. It's not completely full today, but I'll pick up more stuff when I'm at my mother's, and then I'll take the onward journey to the dump. See you further on. It's been, I can't say it's been entirely unemotional, removing all the contents of my mother's home and what was my parents' home. My father went earlier than my mother, but when you're packing everything up, of course you come across old photographs, and you're not only packing up both your parents' life and removing it from their marital home, but you're also removing part of yourself, because of course you're intimately tied up with your parents' life. And part of the process of removing the objects from my mother's home has been triaging, as I said, the contents to stuff to charity, stuff to keep, stuff to take to the dump, stuff possibly to sell. And as a result of that, one comes across old pictures of the family, of yourself, of your sister, and whilst it's emotional, it's not entirely upsetting. It's quite pleasing in a way to see pictures of one's past and one's history. So the whole process has been quite enlightening, but I would never underestimate the work involved. I mean, I chose to do it all myself as an executor. I suppose if I'd have been slightly more idle, I could have just asked the house clearance person to come in and just take the lot, apart from what I want. It certainly would have shortened the process, because it does take a lot of time to decant 91 years worth of living from a house, put it in the back of a Land Rover and deal with it. So I've made this trip many, many times. But it's been quite an eye-opener, the whole process, and in a sense cathartic. One chapter ends, another begins, and I've just turned my indicator off because I keep forgetting to do it. So the contents of the house are going to go to a local dump. I think it's at a place called Tholthorpe, something like that. I've been once before, They were rather grumpy when I went last time. I didn't have mattresses, but I had black bags full of kit, and I thought, well, just stick it in the general waste. And the attendant sort of pounced on me, ripping open my black bags to see what was in them, to see if I was hiding anything in there that shouldn't be in the general waste, and discovered on ripping the first one that of course it was general waste product, and so was quite happy for me to toss the rest of the black sacks in. I never quite met that attitude before, to dump. But you know, dumps are great. As long as you remember, in this part of the world, they're not open on Wednesdays. Easy mistake to turn up with all your stuff and just find you can't get in, it's all locked. But I found it very useful being able to recycle various items. They even have clothes recycling, which has been useful. And there's something rather jolly about disposing of things, of clutter, of ridding one's home from unwanted items and being able to recycle it all. It's very freeing, very liberating, and so I'm rather enjoying my little cabbie out in the sun, tootling along in my Land Rover, and thank God that we do have these dumps where we can put our unwanted items. I'm sounding a bit stuttery because I'm concentrating partly on the road and what I'm doing. Land Rovers aren't the easiest things in the world to drive, so they have to be negotiated with a little bit of care. It's like driving a tractor. You can probably hear it rumbling away in the background. But dumps are great places to go to. Now, one of the features of dumps that people don't seem to understand is that the men that seem to stand around idly standing on actually are there to help you. Not only point you in the right direction of where to deposit things, but actually to physically assist you. But one often doesn't see them doing very much in the way of physical assistance. They often just seem to be standing around or chatting to one another. So I take great enjoyment in commanding any idle fellow that I see on the dump to assist me with various items, particularly if they're heavy. For a mattress, for example, I mean, it's a struggle for one man. I mean, how on earth I get them into the Land Rover on my own is a mystery. But I do. But then I insist that somebody helps me at the other end. So if you ever do go to a dump, make sure that if there are any chaps standing around who've got big items, don't be hesitant in asking for their assistance, because that's what they're there for. You have to remember that you are paying their wages. One often doesn't see very much for one's council tax, or even all of our taxes generally, and it's nice to be able to remind them that you are actually their employer, and to be a good chap and to help me with this mattress. So we're approaching the dump now, right in the middle of the countryside. Marvellous. Who would have thought it, or thunk it? Here we go, in we go. Fulford Recycling Centre. Jobs are good. Looks like we'll get parked, which is marvellous. Empty the Land Rover. Exceptional reversing skills, if I don't mind saying so myself. And that is that. Right, let's get on with this. I'm exhausted. I've been doing nothing but mess about with furniture all day, looking through old photo albums, most of which have ended up in the recycling for waste paper, apart from ones which I really like and historic photos. But I am exhausted now, so let's just get on with this. This way, young man. that's about it. I'm going home for a drink. I think I might, if I arrive back in one piece, see you on the next video. Please like, subscribe, all those good things. Even leave a comment if you wish. It's been a productive day, but it really is time for a glass of claret. Cheerio.